When you think of Wisconsin football legends, Joe Thomas is one of the first players that comes to mind. The same thing happens when you think of modern-era Cleveland Browns legends. Thomas has to be considered for the Mount Rushmore. The former 10-time Pro Bowler finished his career as the definition of an NFL Ironman, never missing a snap in over a decade. That Ironman was rewarded last night, being named a first-ballot NFL Hall of Famer at 38 years old. So let's look back at Joe Thomas's amazing career. Joe Thomas was born on December 4th, 1984, and grew up in Brookfield, Wisconsin. He was the son of a banker growing up in the suburbs of Milwaukee. His parents believed that team sports, fishing, and hunting were all very important as well as school. Thomas played travel soccer, basketball, baseball, and youth football growing up, but was only allowed to play when his chores and homework were done. If he left home without making his bed, he would be fined by his parents. In 8th grade, he got a C in algebra, and his parents grounded him for 3 months. All he was allowed to do was go to school and sports, and then he would have to head straight home. Thomas explained to Sports Illustrated's Peter King back in 2007, "No dances, no going out with friends. I thought my parents were the worst people in the world, of course." Joe's father explained his side of the story, saying, "Joe has an excellent math brain, and we wanted to make sure it didn't go to waste." Joe learned his lesson and aced every quiz and test the next term, even earning an A on his report card. Thomas attended Brookfield Central High School, where he played tight end, tackle, defensive end, and punter. Coming out of high school, he was listed among the top 20 offensive linemen nationally, was a Prep Star All-American, second-team All-American offensive guard according to USA Today, member of the Detroit Free Press All-Midwestern team, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel first-team All-State defensive lineman, and second-team All-State offensive guard as a junior, and also received first-team All-State honors at defensive end from the Wisconsin Football Coaches Association and Associated Press. He had 85 tackles and 12 sacks as a senior, which resulted in him being named the WFCA Defensive Player of the Year in 2002. He was also a 4-year honor roll student and was a part of the U.S. Army Academic All-American team and played in the 2003 U.S. Army All-American Bowl. He also competed in track and field, where he set the school record for shot put and discus, lettering 4 times as well. Coming out of high school, he was a 4-star recruit, being ranked the 2nd best player in Wisconsin, 4th best tackle prospect, and 88th best player nationally in the 2003 class according to 24/7 Sports Composite. He earned offers from Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, Notre Dame, and Wisconsin, choosing to sign with the in-state Badgers. As a freshman at Wisconsin, Thomas saw time as a blocking tight end and as a defensive end, but was moved to left tackle for his sophomore year, where he started all 12 games, leading the way for running backs Anthony Davis and Matt Bernstein. During the 2005 season, Thomas started all 13 games at left tackle for Barry Alvarez's final season, helping lead the way for Brian Calhoun to rush for over 1,500 yards on the ground and 500 yards through the air. He was projected to be a top 15 pick and 2nd best lineman for the 2006 NFL Draft behind Virginia's DeBrickashaw Ferguson, and debated about declaring a year early for the NFL Draft. However, going into the bowl game, the Badgers lost 2 defensive ends due to knee injuries, and Thomas volunteered to play on the defensive line for the Capital One Bowl against Auburn. In the 3rd quarter, he went in on defense. On his 2nd series, in pursuit of a sweep to the opposite side, he planted his right leg to change direction and ripped his ACL. As a result of this injury, Thomas decided to return to Wisconsin for his senior year, explaining, "I never once regretted volunteering to play defense, even when I was on the ground thinking that could be my last football play ever. I said before that game I wanted to do anything to help our team win, and I wanted to have fun. I accomplished both goals. We won 24-10, I got to play defense, and I think I helped the team win. The decision I made was best for the team, so it was best for me." According to offensive line coach Bob Palcic, Thomas just doesn't say stuff like that, he means it. Thomas returned better than ever for his senior season, winning the Outland Trophy and allowing 1 sack and 1 quarterback pressure in 13 games. That 1 sack he allowed caused him to flip a switch, with him saying, "The first game last season against Bowling Green, I'm coming off an ACL injury, and I gave up a sack. I was embarrassed, totally embarrassed. That pissed me off so much I couldn't stand it. And that game I was so pissed off. I was determined not to give up a sack the rest of the year, and I didn't. To me, the left tackle and cornerback position in football are different from the other positions. You can play well 69 out of 70 plays, but if you give up a sack or a big reception on one play, you're not doing your job. You need to be perfect. After helping the Badgers finish 12-1, Thomas started preparing for the NFL draft. While many players leave school and move to places like Florida or Arizona, Thomas decided to stay in the Madison area to prepare for the draft and finish out his degree. At the time, he carried a 3.5 GPA, studying real estate and urban land economics, a program that ranks second nationally by US News and World Reports, and was taking a full course load as well. Those courses included Finance 300, Real Estate Finance, Business Law, and Real Estate Development. According to Professor Sharon McCabe, this was no slack-off degree, with her explaining, "You've got to work hard to succeed." He got A's in both classes, and he never once asked for an extension on any paper or projects because of football. Strength and conditioning coach John Detman designed a regimen that the 6'6", 313-pound Thomas had followed 4 afternoons a week in preparation not for the NFL scouting combine or private workouts, but for his first NFL minicamp in May. He also had no plans to travel to New York City for the NFL draft. He instead planned to be out fishing with his father on Lake Michigan, 875 miles away from Radio City. Thomas told Sports Illustrated, "Coho salmon, Chinook salmon, rainbow trout, some of my best memories are of fishing with my dad, and I'd rather spend a nice Saturday morning doing that than sitting in New York waiting to see what happens to me. I'm not a big fan of the limelight. Plus, to me, the draft day isn't that important. It's what I do after the draft that's important." Thomas was truly an offensive lineman, through and through, and when this information was relayed to coaches, they loved it. Lions coach Rod Marinelli told Sports Illustrated, "Oh, I love that. When you're looking for a guy you'll pick at the very top of the draft, you're looking not just for the pluses, but also for the holes. And I don't see any in Joe Thomas." What drove Thomas throughout his Badger career was the fear of failure, explaining, "It drives me to work the way I work. I learned from my parents that hard work is its own reward. Hard work makes me happy. That's why actually getting drafted and getting the contract, those aren't big things for me. The first minicamp is important, and learning the offense, wherever I'll be, is important." Coach Palchik had coached former linemen like Jonathan Ogden and Tony Boselli in college and in the past, and believed Thomas was just as good as them. Arizona Cardinals head coach Ken Wisenhunt explained that Thomas is a natural. His stance, his hands, his feet, his athletic ability. He'll be an outstanding left tackle. And many coaches felt that he was going to be a slam dunk left tackle for 10 years plus. Thomas would be drafted by the Cleveland Browns 3rd overall in the 2007 NFL draft and found out on Lake Michigan via cell phone. He won the starting job his rookie year and never looked back. His goal every season was to allow 0 sacks and 0 pressures, and although he was not perfect throughout his career, he was as close as possible to it. Thomas, who made the Pro Bowl as a left tackle in each of his 10 full seasons with the Cleveland Browns, played 10,363 consecutive snaps during his career before a torn tricep muscle ended his 2017 season in his career. He announced his retirement in early 2018, was selected first team All-Pro 6 times, second team twice more, and garnered a spot on the NFL's All-Decade team for the 2010s. He was a runner-up as Associate Press Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2007 behind Vikings sensation Adrian Peterson. Last night, Thomas was named the first-ballot NFL Hall of Famer. The Cleveland Browns struggled throughout his career, leading to Thomas earning the rare distinction of a first-ballot Hall of Famer who had never played in a playoff game. Only 4 players, Dick Butkus, Gale Sayers, Larry Wilson, and Floyd Little, ended their careers after the 1970 merger with no playoff appearances and still received a gold jacket. He was also named to the College Football Hall of Fame in 2019 as well. Since his football career has come to an end, he has lost a ton of weight, always struggling to keep weight on during his playing career. He has also launched 73 Kolsch, a beer that combines lager and ale and traces its origins to Cologne, Germany. He also has an ownership stake in Mission Barbecue and works as an analyst for NFL Network. Joe, his wife Annie, and his 4 kids reside in Wisconsin. Joe Thomas is not just a Wisconsin Badger legend. He is a football legend who may be the greatest offensive lineman of the modern era. But what do you think? Is Joe Thomas the greatest offensive lineman of all time? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe for more college football content. Thank you so much for watching. I could not be more thankful for y'all. You guys make this all possible for me. And as always, remember to embrace the grind.